Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our Deep Roots, Bold Futures conversation based on the legacy of the Painted Bride, 50 years of supporting great art in Philadelphia, and our bold future of moving beyond our building into neighborhoods throughout the city.
Except Ozzie. Thanks, Laurel.
That's a lie.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So anyway, Ozzie, let me introduce you. Ozzie Jones, playwright, director, teaching artist, actor. We're very lucky to have you in our community.
You forgot Hot Sex Machine.
Oh my goodness.
And also with us is from the Painted Bride family, Cheyenne Barboza, also playwright, director, great storyteller. And so now I think we're ready to just jump in this conversation. And Ozzie has asked to start with the first question. Let me just say, if you want to type questions in the comment section, we'll get to them towards the end. Okay, Ozzie, it's all you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, Cheyenne, I have a question.
Uh-oh. Yes, King, what's up?
I saw, wait, first of all, how old are you? I don't know how old you are.
How old am I? I'm fierce.
Oh, you don't ask
Okay,
those
I
things.
get that.
You don't ask those things.
But
Fierce.
I'm not subscribing to those patriarchal.
Put it this way, I'm of the generation that's killing the diamond industry and Applebee's and mortgages, and my student loans are my children. That's
So you're in your 20s.
Yes, I'm in my 20 fine year.
All right. Fair enough.
Turn up next year for the 3-0.
So here's my question.
Yes.
Okay. I saw your production of Wizard of Oz.
The Wiz.
The Wiz, sorry.
You know, there's a difference, Ozzie. You know.
Yeah, fair enough. But not that much of a difference. But that's a whole other conversation. And it was fucking amazing. Like, really amazing. And out of the people here that I see, Urs knows the best that I hate everything. You know what I mean? Like, I usually hate everything. And so it was really, really good.
Thank you.
And what I want to know is if that production changed how the machine was responding to you, or if it just felt like a successful moment. And just let me finish with this question.
Please.
Because when I saw it, it reminded me of the mid-90s when I was your age. Yeah. And I had done something special.
Yeah.
And very often for Black artists, doing something special doesn't necessarily translate as special. And the audience really was clear, I think this is special.
Yeah.
And so and they were right. Like, it was exceptional. It was exceptionally cast. It was exceptionally staged. It was smart. Like, it fucking rocked. Like, did you notice a shift in response to you then, or not?
Word. And I will say, shout out to Lanish, because it was produced by Theater in the Acts. Lanish Miller-White is the executive director of Theater in the Acts. And shout out to, I see Khalif Troy, whose daughter was in The Wiz. She was my youngest cast member at 7 years old at the time. So thank you, Ozzie, for that. And thank you to those who were able to see The Wiz. That was summer of 2018 in Malcolm X Park. And Theater in the Acts puts on a large production every year under the gazebo, around the gazebo of Malcolm X Park for free for the community of West Philadelphia. So I was really excited to continue my relationship with them. And in particular, there was a lot of trust and even like fear, right? Because Theater in the X hadn't done a large scale musical before. And we, they're a young company, and the dollars and the donors aren't flowing like that yet, and at the time like that. And we were really just stepping in on faith, stepping out on faith, I should say. And it was a labor of love, and I had a vision, and they trusted that vision, and the cast grabbed hold of that vision, and we hoped people liked it. We didn't expect to have a sea of people crowding the gazebo every night. It was incredible. It was inspiring. And in particular, Ozzie, it brought out a community of folks that have never stepped foot in West Philadelphia like that before. Have never like pulled out their, see, Seamus is nodding his head, because Seamus knows too that there's a community. The theater community is very segregated in Philadelphia for being a community that is so multicultural and so rich in diversity of the arts and diversity of people, that the theater community is very, very, either it's on Broad Street or it's not, right? So it was really dope to see artistic directors of some of these theater companies on Broad Street and south of City Hall in attendance with their lawn chairs, with their families. It was really dope to see the buzz of folks. And I think there was a point where we looked and we said, we ain't never seen so many white people out here for Theater in the X like this before, right? And yeah, and it was just kind of like, wow, look at what this production is doing. It's bringing a love of theater together in this way, right? So was it just a moment, Ozzie? At the time, I thought so, but after those 3 performances, it was three consecutive Sundays of performances, and then my email erupted with casting directors in the city, artistic directors in the city, other collaborative arts folk saying, hey, Cheyenne, can you pass me the contact information of this cast member, that cast member, this cast member? There wasn't a Barrymore Award for theater. There were a lot of hoops, to be nominated for a Barrymore or to be Barrymore recommended. And my dramaturg at the time, my assistant director and dramaturg at the time, called me and said, they added an outdoor theater performance award of some sort. And when you click it on their website, it's a picture of the Wiz cast. Now we were ineligible for that award, right? It was something that they decided they were going to add the following year. But when you open it, it's a picture of the Wiz, right? And there are other Barrymore awards that were nominated for smaller, created, that were birthed out of that movement, for smaller theater companies to be able to be recognized and have some of that bump and support and that and amplification in the city. And I think the city wants it, and we want those smaller theater companies and those cultural institutions to really continue to expand and grow. So I think the Wiz was not my success alone.
It was.
It was a ripple effect, right? It was a labor of love of a community of people that just galvanized behind this vision that I had, and that was the beauty of it. I left Philly. I pieced out the last performance and got in a car and went to Connecticut. I'm still in.
That was the one I was at.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we had a bus from Connecticut. So I disappeared. I didn't get any of the, hey, Cheyenne in the street, that was lovely, blah, blah, blah. I disappeared. I disconnected from social media. It knocked the wind out of me. And when I surfaced, I was like, look what we all did as a community, look what happened. And yes.
And it really didn't suck. And usually things suck. Do you understand what I mean?
I appreciate that. We did a lot with a little. We did, man, there was some Ozzie.
Well, that's the way you know something doesn't suck.
Yeah. But that's what it is, because we're so into the minute details of like what is good art, and we're so colonized in our imaginations, right? And we're trying to appease.
Colonized in our imagination is beautifully said.
You're welcome for that. But we're so colonized in our imagination that you loved it because it wasn't. You loved it because there are so many theater companies that are like, how can we try to be inclusive? How can we try to be, we need to checkbox all of these boxes of people. And I said, you know what? When I sat in that casting and I told my team, I was like, you know, I want the right people for this role. So I said, I'm not beholden to any gender requirements in this piece or whatever have you, right? And I cast quite a few folks, whether they're non-binary or queer or not, in all the roles, you know, and no one questioned. Like we wondered, like, is the West Philadelphia community, are they gonna, you know, are we going to be able to bring the quirkiness and the avant-garde and the fierceness of this cast and their authentic selves to this theater, and will it be well received? Absolutely. It was absolutely well received.
But the reason it was well received is it didn't suck.
Yeah, well, but what I'm saying is when we get out of our own way of what people will accept, we get out of our own way of like making art for the dollar.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
The people that are just fed up, the Ozzie Joneses that are like, I am unimpressed and I hate everything. It's because it's there's pomp to it. There's an agenda behind it, and the Wiz was for the community. It was for Black empowerment. I remember, I think that at first they said to me, there was some play, I forget what it was, but it was a drama. And I was like, I'm not interested in a drama. Black bodies are dying in the street. We are marching for our lives right now. I need Black joy for my own mental health. I need to direct something that's Black joy. And I walked up to Carlo and said, Carlo, what are y'all doing next summer? You want me to direct the Wiz. And that's how that happened. And Carlo, you can't plant those sort of seeds in Carlo Campbell's mind. Yes, you can. You got to do it so they grow, and he gets excited, right? He's my thing. But so we have to just throw that out and throw that rule book out. And I've started to surround myself since with people and artists and communities who are throwing out that rule book, who aren't creating for the dollar, who aren't creating for the donor. And really the community wants and needs that. That's how we make good community, right? That's how we make healing and progress, is throwing away like the bull, right? I don't know if my mother's on this call, but the BS of it all, you know?
Yeah.
That's that, Ozzie. I appreciate the love.
I'll just have to say,
I appreciate the love. But
it's really exceptional.
On that note, then what impassioned you to move forward? Like, why, how do you Ozzie is my rebuttal. Like, how do you Ozzie in 2020?
I don't know what that means.
Stew in it. My want, Ozzie, is if we hate everything now, right? And I say we because you're not alone, right? Like I walk out at interviews.
No.
Right, but I'm saying I
love everything.
Huh?
I'm in love with everything.
Oh, you just said you hate everything.
No, I said most times.
Okay, yeah.
The art I see, I think, sucks.
Right.
Technically, it sucks. The vision is simplistic and obvious.
Mm-hmm. Or it's too meta, right? It's like it's trying to stump you at every turn. And I'm like, I don't need theater to come for me.
Look.
I got my college degree, damn it. Like, I don't need
you know, it's funny. It's funny because, like, as a director, I think it's really important to not hate the public.
Yes.
If that makes any sense, right? So, like, everybody loves Billie Jean because Billie Jean is dope.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean?
Are you
Like,
talking about Michael Jackson's Billie
yes.
Jean or the Jean? Okay, great.
No, I mean, like Billie Jean is perfect.
It's great. She's not my
So
favorite.
the audience's response, the public's response to Billie Jean is congruent with how good it is.
Yes.
And I think that sometimes, particularly in the theater, we have the tendency to think that as artists, we are smarter than the public.
Yeah.
And from 25 years of doing this professionally, I know for a fact that the audience is almost always the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
And there are times when the audience has insipid responses to things, but they have those insipid responses for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about what the audience responds to for a long period of time, it's because it's perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like people have responded to Motown the way they responded to them. Because those songs are perfect, right? And as an artist, for me to go, oh, Barry Gordy and Smokey Robinson didn't understand something that I understand. It's fucking dumb. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But beyond that, I love it. Like, I mean, one of the things that I find exciting about this moment of time that we're in is I feel like young artists, because, I was born in 1970. So, I remember when, we went to school for a year and people weren't rapping. And then we had a summer and then we came back and everybody was rapping. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think it's a very real thing that the young and the poor create everything that's new.
Yeah.
Nobody my age makes anything new ever. Like what's supposed to happen is people that are my age are supposed to support 14-year-olds and educate them and fund them and give them the space that we can get because we've got credit and shit. You know what I mean?
It's
But
passing the torch, right?
this is
Like,
what I mean.
You have to pass the torch. And I say to folks all the time, you block your own blessings when you take one step up that ladder and you don't show someone how to get to the step that you were just on.
It's very simple.
It's very simple.
Which is why I teach. And as far as I'm concerned, teaching is way more important than anything else I do.
Yes. And
No, go ahead, sweetie.
No, I think you're onto something there too, because as you were all, like you said, there was that one summer you were in school, wasn't nobody rapping, the next folks were next minute you were rapping, and now you're at the blaze of hip hop, right? You're at the blaze of this new street music culture that's just like blown up into this multi-billion-dollar worldwide genre that we can't even really profit from as the originators of hip hop music and rap, right? But we can continue to teach that genre and let it evolve through the generations after us. I mean, like I understand that I'm the generation after you, but even still down to the 14-year-olds, they're not my generation,
No doubt.
And continuing to encourage them to question and to say fuck the machine, and we're gonna blow shit up and we're gonna throw it at the wall and see what sticks. And now, even in this lockdown, even in this virtual space that we're in, we've created access. Like this platform that we're as frustrated as we all are of being cooped up in our houses and whatever, that we have created access in a way that there hasn't been. And I have access to all you people right now, wherever you are on your couches. This is so intimate in a way that folks don't gather anymore because it's stranger danger, right? I'm looking at everybody's face. I'm not looking down the row at shoulders and side glances. I get to see all of your perfect, beautiful faces and your eyes. And I get to read your thoughts in the comments. And I get to be in community with you. And that's a blessing from all over the world, right? And this is constant. I have access to the world right now in a fascinating way. I'm learning so much in this virtual space. And art will never be the same now that we've started churning out the nuance of virtual space, live theater virtual space. Art will never be the same, and that's exciting because this is a different type of energy. It's still electric, and I don't have to wear heels and fancy stuff, and I didn't iron my pants, and you can't see that.
I iron my pants.
You ironed your pants. I didn't iron my pants. And you can't see how wrinkled I am because I've put the camera to where it's on my good side. Amen. That's it. Right. And so now that we're
I iron my drawers too.
yes, and now that we're comfy and now that our feet are kicked up and our shoes are off and we've relaxed into a space, we really can lend ourselves to the task at hand, to the conversation. We can bring our dogs, and those with allergies can still enjoy this beautiful French bulldog and everyone's cat that jumps in the picture. Like, I love that. It's great, you know? So I'm hopeful and I'm excited because we're starting to really call a spade unapologetically. What do I mean? I'd say some folks that are bitter about it call it call out culture. I think the bitter folk call it call out culture. I think there is a calling out and a calling in that's happening in the community right now. And there's a fed upness and a fed up rising that is happening in our nation that is overdue. But I think artists are leading the charge in having the important conversations. So many theater companies, even predominantly white institutions that are like, you know what? We cannot ignore this wave. We cannot be silent. We cannot ignore the folks that we've been isolating and ignoring our livelihood is at stake. The art that we want to make is at stake if we don't start actively turning our sights away from the dollar into the community. And what does that mean, right? And I'm currently in the middle of those sort of conversations right now. What does it mean to be responsive to your community through art and activism, walking hand in hand?
Yep.
Right? I love the nodding of the heads. The only thing I don't like is that if everyone were to go off mute, it'd be like, right? But I just holler if you.
I was so hoping. I was like, damn, can I jump in?
Yes, you know, and I can't see who's talking, but yes, and all is well, you know.
Let me turn on the lights. I'll make myself visible.
Yes, Turner.
Hey, Ozzie.
So, but so yeah, so that's just, those are my 2 cents. I'm really passionate.
Well, I gotta say, I'm at the beginning of, I think everything has its own stages, you know what I mean? And I'm at the beginning of the elder thing.
Word.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you're only 1970. What is that? Your 50th birthday? We're gonna turn up. You got 20.
No, but my point is that I'm not.
Fact, Seamus.
Yeah, I'm not new anymore.
Heard.
And I embraced being new for a really long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think what's going on with me right now is a real embracing of the fact that I'm not new. You know what I mean?
Word.
And there are, like everything, responsibilities that come with that.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so when I look at this moment right now, you know, I don't want to be the old man get off my lawn dude. You get what I mean? So I kind of feel like when it comes to artists that are young, what they're dealing with right now, I don't really want to give my opinion if I'm not asked. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be shitting on their shine. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be dealing with that. But I know that one of the things that's really important to me, which is a very 1970s thing, right? Like Inazaki was one of my teachers and became a friend of mine, God bless the dead. And Baraka was one of my teachers and a really good friend of mine, God bless the dead.
God
bless. And Walter and
you
know what I mean, and all of that. Like I got a very Malcolm way of looking at it.
Sure.
You get what I mean? And so my thing is, you know, I would like to see in this moment young people stop the conversation of even talking to predominantly white institutions that don't embrace them.
Yeah.
And there's a number of reasons for that. One is my parents' generation took care of that. Like there was a period of time where within the confines of the law, you were allowed to not have Black people do their thing.
Yeah.
My parents' generation took care of that. Like one of the things I think that people do too often in our community is we talk about ourselves like we're perpetually losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you ever seen the movie Bustin' Loose?
Busted Loose?
Bustin' Loose.
Busted Loose. Yeah, of course.
Gotta see it. It's got Richard Pryor in it.
Yes.
It's got Cicely Tyson in it and a whole bunch of kids. And at one point, Richard smacks the shit out of his Puerto Rican kid, and it's like, you know, we're not losers. Like I feel like that. Like we talk about ourselves all the time, like we don't win.
Right.
And we win constantly.
And what does it mean? Like, I really want to dive into that, right? Because I'm to give an example, I was asked to share myself. You know, this time I didn't have to say, I'm Cheyenne Barboza and I do these things. We had Laurel's wonderful self saying, this is Cheyenne Barboza, this is Ozzie Jones, she do these things, right? But there was a day last week that I got tongue-tied. Cheyenne, can you just share your Genesis story? And I got tongue-tied. And then afterwards I just kind of giggled it off. I said, it's hard talking about yourself, or like, you know, orating your resume type thing. And the reply that I got from a mentor of mine was, no, it's only hard for people of color because that's it, you know, in so many words, it's only hard for people of color because that's how we're conditioned. It's not hard for white people to give their resume to talk about themselves in that way. They say.
What? Okay. I have to interrupt you.
In our voice, right? So I was like, and I've sat with that for like a week. I've like sat with that because I said, wow, I did do that, didn't I?
Okay.
Like that decolonization, the deprogramming, right?
Can I just say
that we do? So even as artists, and artists do it, right? Because we've been told, we're conditioned in this, artists in general, right? We're told and conditioned, you're not going to make money doing this. What's your backup plan? You know, they start whispering early at you when you're like, I want to be an artist and I want to pursue my dreams and my talents, stuff like that. We're taught to kind of bend over backwards and take a good beating for the sake of the art, because that's going to get us. We don't want to build any bad blood or bad reputation or whatever have you. So when we get into these larger PWI organizations or in the younger students, younger kids, they take all that shit, right?
All
they
right.
take all, and what you're saying, walk away. And that's empowering right now. Like, walk away, because they need you. They have a diversity grant. They have
not, but wait.
It's not right.
It's not new though. What I mean by that is,
yeah.
I think what we need to do is ask ourselves, how much do we matter
yes.
to us? Because running them were like,
yeah.
I stood on many stages, held many mic, took airplane flights, as huge height. Like, there are a lot of examples
yes.
of Black artists who went, I fucking rock. I rock the hardest.
Yeah.
I rock the best. My mom is the best. My dad is the best. My best friends in my neighborhood are the best.
Yeah.
I wear these sneakers. I wear them on this street. I wear them in this block. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Like, only in the theater, I think, because the theater is very much a mint julep institution.
It's a mint julep institution.
You understand what I mean?
I do.
Do we even have this conversation
Yes.
post 1970 of tell me I'm dope?
But you know what? And it goes back to when I was saying with decolonizing your imagination. We have accepted this Eurocentric idea of what is excellence in theater. So our what's up, and our stage plays and our Medeas and our Tyler Perrys, they don't measure up, right? That's not excellent. It's cultural. It's Black theater, right? It's, oh, well, Cheyenne does Black theater. Someone, associate of mine said, oh, well, if you all went to the same institution, I went to the University of the Arts, right? If you all went to the same institution, why is it what Cheyenne does is Black theater? And that person was.
But here's my point.
Colleague said, I just want you to know what you do is Black theater.
If I'm 50 and
Yeah.
I'm the shit.
You are.
No, what I mean by that is, from their barometers,
Yes.
I'm the shit.
Word.
If I tell you to start back at the beginning of this conversation,
Yes.
if I say to you, Cheyenne, I fucking loved The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
It was fantastic. It was dope. Where we need to get to is where you go, I'm good.
Word.
That's all I need to hear.
So how are we going?
Because, and this is why I say this, because
Yes.
when I was your age, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee
Yes.
said that to me.
Praise God. What?
Like, I directed this show that I wrote called The Sanctified Juke Joint. It was like a happening that was based upon Zora Neale Hurston's Sanctified Church.
Yes. Yes.
And you ever see Beat Street?
Beat Street. I have not. No, wait. No, I have not.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, Alan, don't throw your. Oh, everyone threw themselves. Yes, I have.
Fix that.
Google it to me. I will, kid.
It's on HBO right now. You need to fix that expeditiously.
Oh, and you're excellent.
The point is that the DJ in it,
Yes.
Guy Davis, is Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee's son.
Yes.
And I directed him in it. That's why the two of them came to the show.
Mm.
And Ozzie, I'll never forget it. I was young. I was like 25. And Ozzie pulled me aside and he was like, yo, you're one of the leaders of the American theater.
Praise God.
So I said, oh, thank you, sir, whoop-de-whoop. Like,
Right.
the dismissive, like,
Right.
thank you, sir.
Yep. And that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
That's what
And he
we
was
do.
like, he was like, do you know, the subtext of the conversation was, do you know who I am?
Yes.
And I was like, yes, sir, I know who you are. I know who Ruby is. I know who y'all are. And he was like, so either my opinion matters more than the machine, or it don't. Because if it matters as much or more than the machine, then hearing me say this, you should be good.
Right.
So back to my original statement with this.
I love that.
That's where we at. Like, I'm moving into the beginning of the being Ruby and them.
Yes.
Like, I'm at the very right across the line. Oh, I'm them to y'all thing.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that Wizard of Oz was fabulous. And there are people in here who know this, if I didn't think it,
You wouldn't say it.
I wouldn't fucking say it.
We wouldn't be here.
We'd be here, but I wouldn't say it.
Praise. And you know it's
So I need you to eat that. I need you to go.
Yes.
I'm the shit.
I am the shit.
Yes.
I am the shit.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it. I appreciate that, and that really actually resonates because I even do it, like I said, doing the Wiz, it was a huge undertaking. You know, it was a long period, it was a long process, but it's for the community, it's for representation, right? And like, okay, for instance, Ozzie, we're rehearsing in the heat, right? It's outside, and these dudes, these just neighborhood dudes, they roll up, because people roll up, right, Lanish? They roll up and they want to know what y'all doing. What y'all doing out here? You're in the way. Like, we're rehearsing and we like kick people out. You're in the way. What are y'all doing? He said, we're rehearsing a play, blah, blah, blah. So one guy says to me, young black guy, he goes, so what do you do? What do you do? And I said, I'm the director. He said, word, you direct? And the other one's like, yo, that's dope. It's these two guys. And one of them said, yo, I could draw. Ozzie. And the other one was like, yeah, you're right. He good at drawing. He goes, yeah, I could draw. Like, this is what you do? And I said, this is what I do, King. He said, yo, that's what's up. I could draw. And like that, if nothing else, Ozzie, our representation, our presence in the park, in the middle of a rehearsal, had homeboy rethink his whole game.
Well, do you want to know something crazy, which you don't know?
Tell me all the crazy things.
Is I am from around the corner.
It's beautiful. And my thing is like
I'm
that's
from
I like
around
walked
the
away.
corner
I was like, yo, he just found
from
himself.
Malcolm X Park.
He's like gonna explore a part of himself that like just our presence brought out of him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our heels.
Well, but the real question to all the beautiful black faces I'm looking at on this thing.
Yes. Oh,
the real question is, do you want yourself in the predominant voice, or do you just want white folks to say, yes, come be around me?
No, I've never moved.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking it in the Uber sense.
Yes.
In the Uber sense.
Yes.
Does your mom and dad rock the best? Or do people who aren't your mom and dad rock the best?
My mom and dad have always rocked. I know you're not asking.
My mom and dad rock the best.
My mom and dad rock the best. They've always. Lanish knows, my mom.
They don't just matter.
Word.
They matter the most.
They matter the most. Like,
so all I'm saying is,
for the people. I do what I do for the people.
Everybody just goes, yo, let me pull my soul out on the canvas in Basquiat sense.
Yeah.
Then, because the machine that we're talking about is not dying, but it's a dead thing.
Word.
I mean, it's a dead thing.
Absolutely. I want to speak to, I love these questions happening. I have the chat window open on the side, and there's a side.
Oh, are people asking questions?
Well, there's a side conversation about arrogance right now, and I think it's really important, right? Because we're the only ones who think immediately to arrogance and praise, right? But we have to, my people, my kings and queens and royalty on this call, we have to love ourselves out loud and shout that we are the shit, because we have been hating on ourselves in silent for centuries. We have to shout it out loud first. We have to shout it in mixed company. We have to shout it in the boardrooms. We have to shout it in our interviews at these PWI theaters that have a fat grant to do some black play or whatever have you. We have to shout it in those rooms. And it comes off as arrogance because they're not used to us shouting love like that out loud. Love us out loud, love you out loud and each other out loud first. I visited a friend of mine. We were in Nashville, and every shop owner was a black woman. Every shop person was a black woman or whatever. Anytime I ask them a question, I call all black women queen. If I don't know you, that's my miss or ma'am. I call every black man king. That's fine. And if I don't know and you tell me that you're non-binary, I call you royalty, right? All that jazz. So he says to me, my friend says to me, he goes, you called every black woman queen this whole weekend. He hasn't ever seen that. I said, and what else am I supposed to call? What else am I supposed to call us? He said, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We have to love us out loud, unapologetically first. And it is not arrogance. We're conditioned to believe that the minute we say, I'm the shit, oh, he's difficult to work with. He's arrogant. He's this, he's that. No, I just learned how to love myself out loud. Shout it.
There's also there's a historical functionality to it as well. And what I mean by that is, I think quite often when such subject matters come up, they come up in respect to the duplication of the same.
Yeah.
And even intellectually, as an intellectual practice, I get it.
Yeah.
But as a historical reality, black folks ain't never put up no signs saying you can't drink water here.
Mm-hmm.
Like black folks have never put up no signs saying you can't eat food here. You can't sit here. You can't. And when you look at human history, particularly in the 20th century, if I was white, I would embrace leadership being held by somebody other than white folks.
Mm.
What I mean by that is, let's take black people out of the conversation. Black folks didn't make the Irish, when they first got off the boat, work their children for 16 hours. Do you understand? Like, forget black people. Like, fuck black people. Ignore black people. Like, black people did not tell Irish right off the boat, give me your 10-year-old, and I'm going to make him, her,
Mm-hmm.
go into a hole and dig oil or coal for the Carnegie family for 16 hours, right? Like, when the moment of truth happened in World War II, my grandfather's generation didn't walk, they ran down to the army to sign up.
Yeah.
To go, I want to liberate these people from genocide.
Right.
There were 30,000 people 2 years before we entered World War II. There were 30,000 people in Madison Square Garden applauding Hitler. Were no black people in that room? So my thing is, you don't want me and my wife and my son to be in charge? Like, where's the evidence? We could have a philosophical, intellectual conversation, but there is no physical evidence that if Black men and women are in charge of culture, politics, sport, the economy, religion, that if I was a white man or woman, that I should have any fear that I couldn't get down. There's no evidence. There's no evidence to say I couldn't bring my kids and sing too. Like, there's no evidence. Like, you could have an open-ended philosophical, intellectual conversation about it. But in terms of any sort of historical evidence, there's no historical evidence to support the notion that Black power, for lack of a better word, or embracement means the extrication of others. Part of the reason that Black people are broke is we don't never say no to anybody, ever.
Word.
Everybody is always invited. Everybody can always get down. That's why I feel like this is a beautiful moment. Because the shift in power, which always happens, like historically it always happens. There was a period of time where China was the most important country in the world. There was a period of time where Rome was the most important city within a country in the world. There was a period of time where it was Egypt. There was a period of time where, you understand what I mean? Nobody stays in power forever. And the white men and women, but predominantly white men, being in charge of every fucking thing is over. The what do you call it? The election of Donald Trump is evidence. That's like the grasping of straws of a drowning man. That's the only reason that sane, intelligent people would pick somebody that's that batshit crazy to be the president of the United States. Is if they're like, oh, fuck, it's the end, dude. You understand what I mean? But it's all right. It's just a moment.
And
if
I
you
think
look
it's
at
important
history,
what they're saying, right?
I'm gonna shut up in a second, but if you
no, I'm here for it.
If you look at history as being longer than how Americans think of history,
yes,
right? Like in America, we think of history being, I don't know, what, 35 minutes long? But, you know, like I've worked in places, like when I worked in Ireland, I went to this club, like I went to a club that opened like the year before, and it was right next to a building that had been there for like 1,500 years. And I was thinking like, oh my God, like everywhere else in the world understands history as being something other than like the character Ellen played in the movie with the fish. You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, I forgot. Like that's
right.
Like we're Ellen in that movie.
The Nemo, Finding Nemo.
Nemo, yeah. Like we're Ellen in that movie. Like, oh my God, what'd you say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you look at us being larger than that, the only thing that's happening is power is changing hands.
Yes.
And power is changing hands so that in the racial tip, it's no longer just white people. And in the gender tip, it's no longer just men.
Right.
And if you look at history in the larger sense, like what the fuck? Because I got a penis, I'm supposed to be in charge of everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? Like, ain't nothing real about that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's game.
Right.
Or because I'm white, I'm supposed to be in charge of everything all the time. It's game. I'm sorry.
I want to. I see that the chat is popping too. Angelita.
Yes.
What do you have to say, sis?
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to address what was said as far as arrogance. And me personally, I believe that, you know, arrogance appears when mediocrity gets scared. And I just think that at the end of the day, we have to be bold, we have to be confident, and as artists, we have to be unapologetically dope, as Ozzie has mentioned. And I appreciate Ozzie addressing that question to you in the beginning, to you, Cheyenne. And at the end of the day, if we know we've worked really hard to create something that we feel is dope, and when someone else tells us is dope, we need to definitely accept that. So I'm really appreciative of being here with all you creative, wonderful people. I know a few people here, a lot of you I don't, but I'm thankful to be here with each and every last one of you. And Ozzie, I have to say, stop saying you're old because you're making me old, my friend.
That's because you is old.
I'm 1972, all right?
You old.
And I'm still coming up with great ideas.
I know, that's right. Ozzie's an evolution.
It's all good. I love you guys. Thank you.
We cute, though. We cute.
You're real cute. I'm liking your boldness, and I'm liking, you know, just straight up being unapologetically dope.
Ozzie.
Yes, sir.
You are 10 years younger than I am, so keep on keeping on.
Hey, yo, how are you?
Oh, great. Long story, whatever. Talk soon. It's so good seeing everyone. This conversation, oh, I'm going to get emotional, gave me so, no, love this conversation. Keep on keeping on.
Good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a long time.
You too.
Yes, Gen X in the house. Y'all represent. All right. Okay, Gen X.
Wait, are we taking questions from people now?
I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm here for it. Because Lanish said we got to go.
Who asked the questions?
Lanish, are there any questions on Facebook?
Are there any on the... Oh, is this on Facebook? Bet. We live?
No, we didn't get any from Facebook. So if there's anyone, if you're hearing this, this is your last chance. Anyone here who wants to add anything, please.
Oh, can I just say something?
Yes, please.
So my sister, Cynthia Prentice, I actually just came from Camden. She just got this new space. And it's so dope. Like, it looks like Eureka. And it's right in Camden. Like, so when you get off the train, it's like a walk right down the street.
Yeah.
They got a music producing studio, a stage, audience space, a kitchen, and a teaching space.
Mm.
So I'm just saying, my sister Desi Shelton, like Des, she runs Camden Rep. She set up her house, and God bless the dead, her mom, her house, she set up as a art center. That's right there in Camden. We got my sis, Terry at CEC.
Mm-hmm.
We can go through. All I'm saying is the number of spaces that you got my sister Laurel.
Yeah.
With, I don't know how long it's going to be here, but.
Right. The bride, yeah.
Painted Bride, whatever. Like, the number of people who are not racist dweeb twats is huge.
That makes space.
Like, let me be clear. I'm not even talking about Black people right now.
No, I know. That just makes space.
The number of white people that I know that are not dweebs is huge.
Racist dweeb twats, yes.
This is what I'm saying. Like, we're not talking about a slim number of people.
Word. I have a question for you, and I'm gonna tack it on to Seamus's question. I'll let Seamus. One, I want to get to in this closing moment, because you talked about your generation, just your generation. Say, I'm not trying to be the old head in the room, the shut up old head in the room, or whatever. I'm waiting for my opinion to be asked, and I'll give it type thing, or whatever. What can you how can you impart to your peers who are feeling the aging and who are feeling insecurity that they're not relevant anymore, which they're just evolving, like Sis said. It's just a next level, a notch on your belt. But for some who are feeling that irrelevance and insecurity, so they feel like they need to shut out the up and coming generation, my generation that's collecting the torches now, and the generation after me, and stifling them in these unpaid internships and circling them around the bottom of the barrel. Like, what can you impart, and like, how do you communicate with your peers about allowing folks, like, getting out of the way of younger folks and leveling themselves up in their own, like, they're enough in their art,
Right.
they're enough in their mentorship? Like, how do you impart that to your
That is a bloody great question.
Thank you.
And
And then Seamus wants you to elaborate on how you did something when you was in an early career.
all right, fair enough. Look, I like to call it the Miles Davis rule, right? Like, one of the things, particularly in the theater, that we miss or forget is that as artists, part of our job is to be cool.
I'm such a dork. God, so cool.
That's not what I mean.
No, I know.
We're supposed to be cool. We're supposed to be hip. We're supposed to go, oh, I can wear that?
Yeah.
Oh, I can. You understand what I'm saying? Like, Elvis Costello is an enormous dork, but Elvis Costello is hip.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? Like,
Alan.
like you're supposed to be hip.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be cool. What my generation needs to understand is what Miles Davis understood. Once you cross 30, you are no longer hip. Only young people and poor people make new art.
Mm.
All we do is support and learn from enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
But my age group don't do nothing new. Like, I'm not going to come up with anything new. I'm 50. You understand what I mean?
You
Like,
sell yourself short.
That's where we disagree.
Right.
because, no, hear what I'm saying. 12-year-olds do,
Jump in, I'm sorry.
and the people who,
Ursula
oh,
said.
wait, let me finish. The people who are our age, who do, are like Miles Davis, the ones that work with and make our new work with them.
Ah.
So when you look at Miles, like, Miles had a band, everybody was between 16 and 20.
Mm.
And then when they got their own voice,
Yeah.
they got fired. You know what I mean? Like, when he had Ron Carter, when he had Tony Williams, when he had all of them, they were kids, like, they were children.
Yeah.
And then when Herbie Hancock was like, oh, I get it. He was like, all right, you don't need to be in my band no more. And then he went and made Watermelon Man, and then proceeded to go be Herbie Hancock. You know what I mean? So, like, I think what we need to do, which is why I love teaching so much, and it's particularly why I love teaching middle school, like, because that's predominantly what I teach is middle school. And my wife always says,
if I had you as my middle school teacher, man, I would have passed
my wife
that.
is always like, you love teaching middle school because you're the same age. But that's neither here nor there. My point is, like, because they're hip. You understand what I mean? Like, they're hip, like they know shit before they know it. And for artists, new things get made when you know them before you know it.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you get my age, you're supposed to know what you're doing, which is great, but it's a hindrance to making new things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean? And I'm all right with not making new things. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make new things and let 12-year-olds tell me what's hip.
Mm.
And then I just add all the 30 years of shit that I know to that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the thing that my generation needs to do, is stop trying to hold on to the new creation energy that we had when we were 13 and understand that they are the ones who are doing the new thing, and that what makes us hit is the relationship we have to them. And Miles was hit until the very last second he was on Earth, because everybody surrounding him was young, learning from him, building with him, but he was like, yo, like, play like you play. And I'll follow you. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing that my generation has a problem with, is going, all right, I'm going to follow where you take me. And if you let me, I'll help you learn structure and form and technique, but I'll follow where you're taking me. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean.
Okay, guys. I mean, thank you. Thank you for all of this great conversation. We've gone a little bit over. I think we should wrap it up, right, Lanish? Yeah. Thank you, Ozzie.
Laura, why are you always bullying everybody?
Because she's in charge.
We're over our hour. I'm grateful for everyone who tuned in and participated and lent their energy. You all are perfect in your own way. And don't let anyone ever tell you different, because just being on this call, just lending and being in communion with us makes you all just dope and excellent. Ozzie, it's been a pleasure. You already know. I'm like a quarter of his size. For those who have never seen the two of us in person, I come to literally Ozzie's kneecap. And I just love when we share space. It's electric, boogie woogie. And I've got some, what is it, Beach Street and Shake It Don't Break.
I cannot believe you've never seen Beach Street.
Beach Street and Shake It Don't
You
Break.
gotta be fucking
homework.
kidding me.
You just
Never
see.
seen Beach Street.
You gonna get your black card revoked. You better watch it.
Yo, Alan, thank you.
I'm the worst. You don't want to ask me all the movies I haven't seen.
and your hip hop card too, Cheyenne. And your hip hop card.
Don't you like? I can't get my hip hop card taken away with my cassettes on.
Yes, you can.
No, that's how I get written out of wills. My dad's a dope DJ. That's how I get written out of wills. But all is well.
Hey, yo, Cheyenne, you know I love you, mama.
Always, always love you, Ozzie. Love you, Laurel. And
love you both. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.